Hello and welcome to the Space Between Ideas. I'm Blaine Gates. It's been a wonderful and exciting week here at the Space Between Ideas, and there are many things to talk about. First off, as you know, we've been trying to make progress with this endeavor where we want to create an environment where managers can quickly figure out what it is that they need to talk about with their teams in order that they're able to make progress with all of their various projects and tasks. Sometimes the problem can be that when you want to make progress, you have to have some kind of framework or some kind of map. For example, in the last video, we talked about this idea called the business model canvas. And the business model canvas gives you 9 boxes that you can fill in order to understand what your business looks like. The thing is that just because you understand what the whole business looks like, that doesn't mean that it's necessarily relevant to the tasks at hand. For example, the business model canvas is going to talk about the value proposition. It's also going to talk about the activities and partners that go into producing that value proposition. And it's also talking about the customers. And well, what happens if you have different departments who are managing all of these different types of activities? That means that we need something that is a little more targeted and a little more relevant for the things that you're doing in your department. We also talked about state synergies, and we showed the difference between state synergies and the business model canvas. In state synergies, you also have these different areas of looking at your providers and your customers, and also what's going on with your peers. And it also adds the element of thinking about how things are going to change over time. Particularly, it's useful because it helped us to understand that we need to be helping our providers and serving our customers and aiding our peers. These are all ideas that you can find in the book, Create Crucial Insight. So we need to continue to move on, and we need to find something a little more relevant for the task at hand. How are we going to pick a thinking tool in order to help us right now? In the past week, I've been really focused on a concept called endeavor forces. The idea, it's similar to all of the different forces that are affecting us in the universe. Imagine we have gravity, we have electromagnetic forces, we have all kinds of things which are holding us in a specific place and in a specific time. There's also other invisible things that are happening all around us all the time. Think about radio. Think about mobile phone frequencies. And even think about radiation. Do you know if there's radiation around you right now? Well, you wouldn't know unless you have some kind of radiation detector. Do you know if you have radio waves around you right now? Well, you wouldn't know unless you have a radio. And is it possible for you to pick up a cell phone signal? Can you call somebody right now? Well, you wouldn't know unless you have a cell phone. So you can see that we need various devices or lenses in order for us to see these forces clearly. Just like how a scale measures a person's weight, or a clock measures our place in time, or a GPS it tells us where we are in space. All of these devices help us to understand the forces around us. And I think that projects and endeavors and tasks are all influenced by forces. And I like to call these things endeavor forces. In business and in life, there are constraints and forces that influence what we do and achieve. In order to get better results, we need a way to see and measure these forces. So I've started to put together a game. Strangely enough, the game actually has some connection with the online course which I created recently. If you jump onto my website, spacebetweenideas.com, you're going to see that I have an online course for sale. Basically, it's a series of videos that I uploaded to YouTube, but it's unlisted. You can purchase the online course and walk through all of those initial ideas that can help you to start to think in a more procedural way, using thinking tools and using methodologies, helping you understand the rules of the game, helping you understand the game pieces and the game board. And then finally, what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to help you understand the forces. What are the forces that influence the game pieces when they're on the board and you're in the middle of a game and you have some kind of strategy? What are all the forces that are in play? In order to see these forces, I suggest that you need to look, and to try to understand these forces using lenses. And I have these 14 lenses that can help you to see. Most of the lenses are from the book Create Crucial Insight, though I've picked up some other popular tools and methodologies that can also help you on your way. When you take this online course, you're going to learn about an endeavor cycle. I took the book Create Crucial Insight and I taught hundreds and hundreds of people over thousands and thousands of hours. And what I noticed is that most endeavors, they flow in a certain cycle. The cycle is based on two basic ideas. You make a plan, and then you go and do the plan. And the online course teaches you about this endeavor cycle and all of the little steps that you have to take as you go onward and upward in your endeavors. The thing I'm working on now is to help people who already understand the endeavor cycle. Once you understand the endeavor cycle, then what we can do is we can pinpoint some place in that cycle. Either we're going to talk about output, we're going to talk about input, or we're going to talk about scenarios. Or finally, we're going to make a choice. All of these things are kind of connected mostly to making a plan. Although you could argue that output is actually what happens after you act. So output is mostly connected to doing the plan. But we don't need like 6 boxes just to do the plan. We just need 1 box. So we do the plan, we measure the outcomes, and then we're able to describe what has happened. What is our performance? What is the outcome? What do our processes look like? Next, we go into input. Input, we're talking about what are the inputs to production? How do we get those outputs? Or how do we want to change our output into the future? After we talk about the inputs that are going to go into our production, or after we talk about how we can change our inputs, or what kind of inputs we're going to need, or what inputs are available, what kind of resources do we have, then we're going to be able to start talking about scenarios. What kind of scenarios are possible given the inputs that we have? Finally, we need to make a choice. And before we make a choice, we need to recheck our assumptions, making sure that the input will actually lead to the output. So right now I'm starting to work on this second course. Maybe it'll be a game, maybe it's going to be an activity. It's going to be something that managers can use to figure out where they are on the endeavor cycle, and then quickly pick one of these 14 lenses in order to help the people that they work with talk about the things that matter most in order to get better results and have more productive and happier people.